We have Matt Hamilton here, and he is a Canadian, and he's a world traveler. He has a book, Through Travel and Error. Now, the book is on the screen, but we're going to talk about traveling with your children. Now, I went to Europe with my kids. I took them to Amsterdam to see family, but we took the train, we went to Germany, and we went to Paris, took them to the Eiffel Tower. It was an amazing trip. They were 7 and 8. I thought it was a good age. What do you suggest if you're going to do a big trip like that?
Well, I like to think the kids should be old enough to communicate.
Yes.
You know, be able to talk to you and say, look, you know, if something happened, especially if they're off the beaten path. Like, I like to travel in Africa and Southeast Asia, where there's sometimes these little critters that could bite you. So if a kid isn't able to talk and they're crying, you might not really know what's wrong.
They're hungry. Be sick, they might have ate something that didn't agree with them, and they may need to go to the hospital.
Well, exactly. So as long as the kid can communicate, say, you know, I got an itch, something bit me, or my tummy doesn't feel well, that's a good start.
So maybe 4?
About 4. And then the other thing is, although I've seen people travel with babies, I don't think that infant is really taking anything in from that experience.
They're never going to remember.
No. So, I mean, the kids that I've met who have traveled through South Africa, the 4, 5, 6-year-olds, they have taken an experience. They have
remember.
Exactly. They have seen something, they've learned something, they've taken something back, they've got some perspective. And I think that's very important.
And
now,
that's why we waited. We waited so our kids could remember the trip for the rest of their lives. We're seeing some beautiful pictures on the screen right now, and these are pictures that you've taken. Let's talk about
South Africa here, yes, and a region called the Transkei, which is very remote, off the beaten path. You often find no electricity, no plumbing, and in all these places, I've seen kids. And this is one of the beautiful things about South Africa. The industry has really developed over the last 10, 12 years. It's a new place to visit, really. A lot of the hostels and backpackers, they start off with the budget traveler in mind only. But a lot of these places, the owners have had kids of their own. And they've decided to change their home, their hostel, to make it more kid-friendly, and also have realized that the type of travelers coming to their country are no longer just the long-haired, lost souls trying to find themselves. It is an incredibly diverse group of people. So they have made incredible improvements to their accommodation to make it more kid-friendly, to make it more comfortable.
So don't be afraid to bring your kids to South Africa. It is a beautiful place to visit and experience they'll never forget. But I want to talk about money because, you know, people, the reason why we waited too, you don't want to waste the money on a kid that's never going to remember. Once they can remember, on a budget?
For sure. And places like Australia, South Africa, Thailand, the expense is getting there. Once you are on the ground in Thailand, for example, you're going to save a pile of cash. In Australia, what I always recommend people should do is rent a camper van. Drive around the country. There are fantastic companies that have incredible fleets of all sizes. Australia is littered with free campgrounds. You just go into a...
Free campgrounds. This is a great idea.
It is, and some of these places, and they're detailed to the point kilometer. And they could be just a few kilometers off the main highway, but you find these unbelievable remote hidden gems that could be on the ocean. I found one spot, and I spent a week there with my girlfriend. We didn't see another soul. We were completely on our own. So, and
did it kind of drive you crazy? No, I'm kidding.
I think it kind of drove her. I think it kind of drove her crazy a little bit. But having that vehicle, I mean, it was our transportation, but it was also our accommodation. And then at the end of the trip, because I had bought that van, I was able to resell it and actually made a little bit more money out of it than I originally paid.
Are you still together?
Oh, no. Australia that was a while ago, yes.
I was going to say, spending that much time together all alone, you really get to know each other, don't you?
Yeah, Australia was the beginning.
Can make or break you.
It was the beginning and the end of the relationship, for sure.
But very quickly, Southeast Asia as well. Great to take kids?
Great to take kids. Honestly, it's the friendliest place I've ever been in the world. The food's delicious. The people are welcoming. There's beaches in the south, there's mountains in the north, everything in between. The kids, again, I've met there, just this jol, and they really connect with the locals.
It's great for your kids to experience that culture. Matt Hamilton, thank you so much. We'll have all the information about your book on breakfasttelevision.ca.